Hi everyone, welcome to the 11th week of Music for Mindfulness with Alina Orchestra and Arts for Health, Milton Keynes. My name is Anna and I'd like to thank you for joining us today. I can't believe how far Music for Mindfulness has come. This is in fact our penultimate week, but if you've missed any of our videos, you can find them all on the Arts for Health Milton Keynes website or by searching the word music, the number 4, and the word mindfulness on YouTube. There you'll be able to find our entire program, so you can watch any of the videos that you've missed, or perhaps rewatch one or two of your favorites. So today we have a program of music that's completely centered on singing. So I thought this would give us a nice opportunity to mindfully use our voices too. We're going to try a practice that I first came across in yoga, called Om. This is a sound that's in fact made up of 3 separate sounds, an ah, an oo, and an sound. Some believe that these 3 sounds are actually the universal sounds, or the sounds on which all other sound is based, a little bit like we have our blue, red, and yellow primary colours. But when we put this together, this develops a practice of chanting that's been proven to help us gain better focus, and also it's been used to treat a whole host of psychological challenges and difficulties. So developing a daily practice of Om can have great impacts on our mental health and on our well-being. So as this is a mindful session, we're going to go through the 3 sounds separately first. We'll do that together, and then we'll put them all together. Just being attentive to where we feel these sounds resonating in our bodies. So first of all, we're going to try an ah together. So you might like to close your eyes or keep them open if you feel more comfortable, but just notice where you feel that ah sound resonating in your body. Here we go. So I don't know about you, but I felt that sound kind of resonating around the back of my throat and a little bit into my chest even. What about you? Let's go on to our ooh now. Closing the eyes. So again, there's no right or wrong answer, but for me, I felt that sound resonating much more in kind of the roof of my mouth, towards my front teeth even. Let's try our now. So where did you feel that one? For me, I was almost surprised because I could kind of feel it resonating up around my nose. So we're going to put these 3 sounds together now and try an You can hold this for as long or as short feels comfortable to you. Again, it's prioritizing what's best in your body. And again, focus on where you feel it. You might feel the same sensation as when we took each sound individually, or this time it might be different. You might feel or be more aware of the sensation of your body expanding when you breathe in and gently contracting as we chant together. Let's try it. That really gives me kind of a sense of calm or a sense of something dropping in the body. What does it feel like for you? Let's try one more. Really well done. Thank you for trying this with me today. You might like to do a couple more ohms in your own time? Or why not wait for a moment when you're looking for a bit of added focus or a little bit of stress relief and see if this ohm can help? I hope you enjoy the rest of our video today, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.
Hello again, and here we are for the 11th in our series of Music for Mindfulness. We're getting, sadly, rather near to the end, but let's hope we may have a second series at some stage. Today we're going to look at a very large area, the area of opera. Now, opera is an extraordinary thing. It didn't exist until the early 17th century. It started by being on quite a small scale. Nowadays, opera can be enormous and vast, hugely expensive to produce, and has the rather extraordinary concept that when you are describing some important interaction between people or peoples, you will sing your views of it rather than speak them. So of course you have to suspend your disbelief when someone, having been stabbed, proceeds to sing an aria announcing that they're going to die. And that's not what normally happens in real life. But real life is not what opera is directly about. Having said that, opera is fantastic at conveying really large issues of human experience because the music adds to the intensity of the thought process inside the singer, actor, singer, whichever way you look at it. Some people would say the words are more important than the music, other people that the music is more important than the words. But either way, you've got to be able to sing and act to be a successful opera performer. We've taken two famous operas for this particular segment, and not particularly because they're famous, but because they're wonderful. The first one is The Marriage of Figaro by Mozart. Mozart was above all a great composer for the voice. And this is a typical Mozart aria. The plot of Figaro is slightly complex, and I think I would recommend you look it up if you would like to pursue it. But basically, it's about class and about love and about deceit. Mozart wrote real-life operas as opposed to operas drawn from ancient Greek myths, which is what Handel wrote about. And in this opera, there are the two toffs, the two noblemen, who are the Count Almaviva and his wife, and then the two servants, Figaro and Susanna, his wife-to-be. Count Almaviva fancies Susanna something ghastly, and Figaro, in the way that men so often can do, becomes rather jealous, even though in fact she behaves immaculately and keeps the Count at bay. She can't actually punch him because she would lose her job and so would her husband-to-be, but she does elude him very carefully. And the Countess is well aware that her husband is not likely to stay faithful, and he has not been faithful, and they set up an elaborate plot for Susanna to pretend to be the Countess, and so that the Count makes his advances to her, and when he's doing so, his wife will pop up and say, "Hello, dear, it's not me after all, it's actually Susanna you're making advances to." Now, this is a complicated plot, and it doesn't terribly matter in a way what's going on, except that the singing of each person is significantly different in its actual musical content. The Count sings heroic, slightly brutal music, sometimes seductive music. The Countess sings noble music because Mozart saw her as the noble, wronged woman. And Susanna sings flirtatious music because that's what she is. And the fact that you can write music which so clearly portrays personality is a huge gift that Mozart had, and perhaps no other composer had quite to the same degree. So this is an aria in which Susanna sings about her love actually for her husband-to-be Figaro, but she appears to be singing it, I hope you're keeping up, to the Count, who is in the shadows trying to get his hands on her. And because she is a sweet, flirtatious person, her tune is sweet and flirtatious. And underneath the tune is plucked string music, light, airy, slightly teasing. Above it are some very beautiful counter melodies for the oboe and the bassoon. Now, you won't hear this in the performance you're going to hear in a few moments in the programme because we have it in the piano reduction. which enables you to hear the singing more clearly, but also it's well worth, I think, you're pursuing this aria into YouTube in an orchestral version. I will leave a note about that in the additional listening system, which you can obviously get from the website. So she sings this little tune. It's a tune grouped in threes, compound time, as we've discussed earlier, light, flirtatious, pretty. And it's very simple, and yet, like all Mozart, it's nothing like as simple as it appears on the surface, because the art of writing less is something which is very difficult to acquire. It's quite short. She sings, it's called the Rose Aria, and the words she actually sings are, "Come, do not delay, O bliss. Come where love calls thee to joy." And as I say, this is her actually expressing her love for her husband while appearing to express it for the person she knows to be the Count who's trying to get hold of her. It's all in darkness or semi-darkness. They tend to wear masks so they can't see each other. It's all part of the deception. But the key thing to remember is, first of all, that Mozart had this great gift for writing melodies for the voice. Secondly, that this is about class. It's about rich people, but rich men in particular, who try to exploit poorer women. And it's about the power of love and the power of forgiveness. Mozart was a genuine enthusiast for the female gender. He loved his wife, who was quite a tricky lady, and he loved his female singers, and it's probably true to say that the quality of the vocal writing that he produces for his sopranos is extraordinarily good and better than almost anybody else. This is an interesting aria because it was written for an English singer, which is rather an interesting thought, though it was being performed in Europe, of course. But she wasn't great on her top notes, apparently. So Mozart deliberately keeps this aria in a reasonably constricted range from top to bottom. It doesn't go terribly high. Though our singer today is Anna Sideris, of course, the leads are meditation sessions, brilliantly, but she's also a very fine, highly trained opera singer. So I've asked her to sing it to you because it's quite nice to see her doing something different from her usual role in these programs, and she will sing this aria beautifully for us now. So I hope you enjoyed your Mozart. Our second example today is from the great Italian opera composer Verdi. Almost the majority of his music was in fact written as opera. The rest of his contributions were on a much smaller scale, and he wrote some of the greatest operas in the repertoire, which are played all over the world all the time. This is a chorus, since you've just had a solo aria. The chorus comes from the opera Nabucco, which was actually Verdi's first great success, and it is the chorus of the Hebrew slaves. The Babylonians have conquered Israel, and they've enslaved large numbers of the Israelites and taken them back to Babylon. And there is actually a struggle, completely disconnected with this particular chorus, between two Babylonian queens, one of whom would like to kill the Israelites and the other whom would not wish to do so, and that is the main story. But this chorus is about exile and about a huge desire for control of your own destiny. And of course it came at a time when Italy was actually an Austrian occupied country, and they very much wanted freedom. And this is a piece which clearly expresses the very powerful 1830s desire on the part of many countries in Europe to be independent of their traditional occupying powers. You couldn't be too express about this because you would be arrested by the security police. So Verdi gets as close as he can with what is basically a parable, an allegory about oppression. And this is a very deep felt chorus. It's rather interesting. Most choruses have four voices: soprano, alto, tenor and bass singing in them, sometimes doubled, so you have two sopranos, two altos, two tenors and two basses in the line. This, though it does use four parts sometimes, is often in unison, a single line of melody being sung by all the parts at once. I think that's designed to show the intensity of their emotional desire to be free. It's also in compound time, but very much unlike the Mozart, rather than being light and airy and flirtatious, it's very heavily laden. And that's an interesting tune too, because actually it's in a major key. But it seems to me, and I'll be interested to know if it seems to you, that in fact it's by no means happy. This slightly curious binary definition, majors happy and minors sad, is of course too glib. And though this tune is in a major key, it does carry a lot of heavy laden burden with it, I think. There's a middle section where they talk about how they long to get back to the golden part of the temple. I mean, they're singing in Italian, but the Va Pensiero is the opening, and what it means is go thoughts. And the thoughts that are going, of course, are the thoughts of their homeland. They're not the only people to have found it very difficult to be prisoners and in exile. And the piece is not all that loud, except for one or two moments. Quite a lot of it's very quiet. And there's a middle section based where there are more parts playing. And then it goes back to the opening material through the most wonderful orchestral scale, which starts at the very bottom of the orchestra and runs into the top. And as it's running up, the choir sings again the original opening passage that you just heard at the beginning. Now, this is a very, very short chorus by opera standards, but it has a very powerful expressive quality. It tells you something quite multi-layered about the actual thoughts and emotions of the people singing it. And that seems to me to be the point about opera. Some people go to opera to hear the tunes, some people go to opera to see the spectacle, and some people go because they like to see acting. But the reality is that what makes opera special is the way that it can convey in a most intense way the human emotions of individuals and groups And all of you, I think, will find it not at all difficult to understand what these people are singing about. They're singing about the need for freedom. Verdi felt very deeply that his own people should be free, and using the power of music expresses that very clearly. And I hope what you're finding with this Music for Mindfulness series is that music can do a lot of things beyond what words alone can do. And if there's one message about opera that I'd like to leave with you, it is that, in fact, if you add music to words, if it's done well, you get more than just words alone can convey. I hope you enjoyed this course. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.